running away. I would run like the wind, behind the mini mart, sailing past the easy dry cleaners, past the bus stop in an easy gallop through the crosswalk. Each traffic light would turn green until there would be a string of green lights glowing like a necklace of all emeralds strung all down the street. And then I would be at Louise's house, and Mrs. Lou would greet me in her red Nordstrom coat with gold buttons. She would hug me and hold me close, and Mr. Lou would say, "Hi, honey," and make hamburgers. "Want to use our phone, Maya?" Mrs. Loon would say. "Talk as long as you want. We have an extra line for the kids." "Oh, by the way," Mr. Lou would say, "Shannon would have David and some of the other kids over Friday night for pizza and videos. It's fine if there's a guy you want to invite too." "Maya, open this door. Do you want more trouble?" Mama rattled the door knob so hard I thought it was going to rip off. "I'm coming." My voice caught in my throat. I felt dizzy as I unlocked the door and held my stomach, afraid I would be sick. "You have brought shame to your father and to this family." Mama glared at me. "Mama, it was just kids joking. Guys from the wrestling team pretending some of us were weights." "I don't know this weight." "It was nothing, Mama." "Don't tell me nothing when your father saw you," she screamed. The next morning, Papa was gone when I woke up, and even though Mama hadn't left for work yet, it was like she was gone too. She didn't speak to me and didn't even look at me, except once when she came to the kitchen. I was getting kasha, and she stared at me like I was a stranger to her. Then she turned and left. Not only was Mama not speaking to me, but she didn't speak to Nurzan either. This never happens. Even when he was punished for the fight with Oshi Nonosho and had to stay home, Mama still spoke to him. But as I was getting dressed in my room, I heard Nurzan try to talk to her. I put my ear to the door to listen. "It's different here, Mama. I'm sure Maya and those boys were playing, joking like a game." "Quiet, boy. You know nothing of these things." I was shocked. Mama hardly ever says a harsh word to her precious boy. Then I heard her rush by. Then bam, the door slammed. The kashma that hung by the door trembled with force. We brought our kashma when we came to America. It looks like a riding crop with a carved wooden handle and a leather cord, decorated with some horsehair. It's an old karsha, as old Kazakhstan tradition to put the karsha inside the house next to the door, because it believed to bring good fortune and happiness. But our kashma was not bringing good fortune today. Mama left without a word of goodbye to either one of us. I came out of the room, and Nurzan and I just looked at each other. I didn't feel happy that Nurzan got yelled at. I felt bad about the whole thing. "Did you hear?" I nodded. "She won't listen." "Thanks for trying, Nurzan. It did no good," he said with sadness. "They don't know about things here. Only their own ways. They're like stone." I wondered how long this tension and anger would stay in our home. I was afraid it might be a long time because Mama and Papa were so upset. But gradually, in the way that winter becomes spring, there was a slight thaw each day. Perhaps because we were huddled together like a tiny Kashuk island in the middle of the great American Sea. We couldn't allow our winter to go on, and by the next week, things in my family were almost calm. But it was not to last. On Wednesday afternoon of the following week, Mama was waiting to talk to me when I got home from school. I was afraid when I saw her. Her ankle was taped up, and she sat on the couch with her leg up on a chair. Next to it was a pair of crutches. "Mama, what happened?" "I fell at work. Mrs. Horman took me to emergency room. I can't work for 6 weeks until it heals up. I must keep my foot up as much as possible." "I'll start dinner." My eyes filled with tears. I felt so bad for her. I felt bad that I'd made them so upset when my father saw me and Daniel, even though I had done nothing wrong. It still bothered me that I had been the cause of such trouble in our house. It was decided that I'd take Mama's job for her for a while she couldn't work. I wouldn't go to gymnastics practice. Instead, right after school, I'd go straight to the houses Mama cleaned. The people Mama worked for agreed to this, and I worked at each house from 3:30 until 6:30 when Papa came to pick me up. I wasn't able to clean their entire house in this amount of time, but they told me which rooms were the most important, and I was able to clean those. Bathrooms were on the list at every house. I didn't mind doing Mama's job, although I did get very tired, and I was scared sometimes that I might break something when I dusted. especially at Mrs. Hathaway's house, because she had a lot of glass vases and some small glass birds. But I didn't mind vacuuming, mopping, dusting, cleaning cupboards, counters, stove, and refrigerators. I didn't even mind cleaning the toilets. It was all as if all the work I did at Mama's job was making up for the problems I'd caused. Besides, our family needed the money. When I finished working for Mama, as soon as I got home, I had to make dinner for everyone. Each day I got more tired, and on Friday, when I was peeling potatoes, I cut my finger. I thought it was just a little cut, so I washed it off and continued to peel. Nurzan looked up from the table where he was doing his work. What's wrong with the potatoes? Nothing, I said automatically with my eyes half closed. They're red. What? The potatoes, Maya. They look like you painted them with red streaks. I looked down and saw my finger bleeding on the potatoes, and it scared me to be so tired that I hadn't seen that. It's just blood, Nurzan. I cut myself. It'll wash off. Oh, yuck. Quiet, boy, I said. I would wash it off. That night, Nurzan refused to eat the potatoes, even though there was no sign of blood on them, and I wanted to take the whole dish and dump them on his head. The next week, I was so tired after going to school and cleaning Mrs. Hathaway's house that I burned the chicken. After I put it in the oven and sat down at the table with Nurzan to do my homework, I rested my head on the book for just a minute, and the next thing I knew, Nurzan was pounding on my arm. Maya, the oven! He shouted. I woke to see smoke seeping from the oven. Oh no! I leaped up and grabbed a dish towel and pulled the pan from the oven. The chicken was very dark but not black, although all the juices at the bottom of the pan had burned and was smoking. It's okay, Nurzan, we can still eat it. Good. Nurzan didn't mind the almost burned chicken that night, but Papa did. This tastes like jus, Papa grumbled. I have to keep my foot up, and Maya's doing the best she can. It's not easy. She must go to school and then do my work and then cook for us. She is just a young girl. I looked at Mama and felt tears in my eyes. I couldn't remember another time when Mama spoke on my behalf, and my tears were the kind you have when you know someone is on your side. The next evening, as dinner was cooking, I sat with Nurzan at the kitchen table and helped him with his spelling words. While I waited for him to think how to spell admire, I took the permission slip from the spring fling from my notebook and stared at it. I'd never thrown it away. Admire. A-D-M-I-E-R. Almost, Nurzan. It's this, I said as I wrote the correct spelling on top of the permission slip and turned it for him to see. A-D-M-I-R-E, he spelled. Then he looked closely at the slip. What is this for? It's a permission slip for the spring fling, the all-school dance, but it's only good for a scratch of paper to help you with your spelling. Papa will never let me go. I don't know why I trouble myself to keep such a thing. Nurzan took the slip and put it in his notebook. What are you doing with it? Let me try. Try what? Let me try to get permission for you from Papa. I laughed. Oh, Nurzan, don't be foolish. You waste your time. I will never change his thinking because of you. I will try anyway. When he comes home tonight, I will speak to him myself. I have a plan. I could only smile a sad smile at the idea of little Nurzan trying to change the mind of Papa, who is a man like a boulder. After dinner, I went to my room to study, leaving Nurzan to talk with Mama and Papa. I was afraid to really hope that any good thing could come from Nurzan's plan. To hope and then be disappointed seemed to be worse. It was better not to hope and to live my dreams through Shannon. I could at least hear every little detail of her experience at the dance and be happy for her, giving up the idea that I'd ever be the one who goes to dances too. But I comforted myself thinking about the dream in my life that really had come true, the gymnastics team. I still had that, and I was warming my heart with thoughts of team when Nurzan burst into the room. Maya, you can go! Nurzan jumped up and down like a little monkey, and I stared with him with disbelief. Don't joke with me about such a thing, boy, I snapped. No, it's true, look! He waved the permission slip in front of my face. I stared at the slip, still in disbelief. Ibik Alzova, Papa's name, and Papa's writing. It was true. I was still staring at the slip, still completely afraid to believe such a thing could be true, when Mama and Papa come in. We give you permission for this, Maya, because Nurzan will go too, Mama said. He will not leave your side. Papa announced in a serious tone. He's your capazonzi. Chaperone? I said the word in English. I knew this word because the parents who help the teachers supervise the kids' school activities are called this. But I hadn't heard of a little boy being called a chaperone. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Papa. It is Nurzan you must thank, Mama said. I thanked Nurzan too, and Papa and Mama left our room. Then I heard the front door close, and I knew Papa had left for work. That night, Nurzan and I whispered in our beds after Mama had gone to sleep. Nurzan, what will I tell my friends when you come to the dance? Don't worry, I thought about that problem. You tell them you must babysit for me. But at a dance? I think it will work. At least it's better than to say I am your chaperone. That is true. I watched the orange light of the mini mart sign blink on and off, and I heard Nurzan's slow breathing as he fell asleep. Thank you, Nurzan, I whispered as I began to dream of the dance. The morning of the dance, Mama came into the kitchen while Nurzan and I were eating kasha. Mama still had a wrap on her ankle, but she was walking with her crutches now. She was happier, and I could tell she felt better. It was better for me, too. When Mama was happier, I didn't feel so worried about her. Maya, I have something for you. Mama came to the table and put a small package wrapped in tissue in front of me. Open, she pointed to the package. I looked up at her, my face full of surprise. Open. Carefully, I unfolded the tissue paper and let out a gasp when I saw a small gold bracelet lying on the folds of the thin paper. You wear this to the dance. Mama patted my shoulder. Oh, Mama. I wanted to hug her like we hug on the gymnastics team, but I was too shy. We don't hug in our family. I forget sometimes when there is so much work that you are just a young girl. This bracelet my mother gave me when I was 16. Girls and boys dance younger here, Maya, so you wear this now. Thank you, Mama. I will be careful with it. I know. You're a good girl. And Nurzan will be right there, always by your side. Yes, Mama, Nurzan nodded. Shannon and I met in the bathroom after school, and she loaned me her peach lip gloss. I can't remember ever being so excited about anything, and so nervous, too. Nurzan was waiting for me by the gym door when we got out of the bathroom. Shannon and I said hi to him, and he followed us into the gym. Nurzan found a chair next to the door and waved to us while I joined Leslie Sutek and her sister Tina and Faith Reeves from the gymnastics team. The gym got more and more crowded, and everywhere you looked, there were flocks of boys and flocks of girls, but no boys and girls together, as if they were birds and they only stayed with their own kind. Then a few ninth grade guys and girls danced together. They were very cool, and everyone watched them, except some sixth grade boys who were pushing each other around an empty garbage can. Shannon and I were laughing at those silly boys when Daniel and David came up to us. I was so happy to see Daniel, even though I was embarrassed about my face, which I knew was once again the deepest red, like borscht. But the next thing I knew, Daniel asked me to dance, and Shannon was dancing with David. Daniel held my hand and put his arm around my waist, and I put my hand on his shoulder, just the way Shannon and I had practiced so many times. It was a slow dance, and Mama's bracelet gleamed on my wrist as I lay on Daniel's shoulder. My little brother's here. I had to babysit. Want to check on him? Daniel asked. Sure. We danced over near Nurzan, who sat in a chair like a tiny mouse in the corner, and I introduced him to Daniel. Are you doing okay? I asked Nurzan. Yes, it's a little boring, though. I'm sorry you have to be here. It's not that bad. The boys in the garbage can are fun to watch, and I enjoy doing that if I came to this dance. Then we danced away and danced even more slowly, and Daniel moved a little closer to me, and I looked over, afraid that Nurzan was still watching us. But all I saw was an empty chair. Then we danced closer. Daniel and I danced 4 more times that afternoon, 2 fast and 2 very slow. And each time Nurzan's chair was empty, and he seemed to have disappeared. I didn't think much about Nurzan during the rest of the dance, and on the bus going home, while Shannon and I talked and talked, reliving the wonderful moment. I almost forgot he was there. But that night, when Nurzan and I were going to sleep, and I was thinking about the day had been the best day of my life, I thanked him for making it possible for me to go to the dance. There's just one thing I wondered about, I whimpered as the mini mart sign was going on and off. What's that? Where did you go when I danced with Daniel? To the bathroom. The bathroom? Yes. You're an excellent chaperone. Susan and I giggled so loud that Mamma came in